In this video, we're going to talk about sharing documents, sharing folders, and collaborating with other people. You can share a single document, and I'm going to show you how to do that. What you would want to do is check mark in front of the document that you want to share, and then we're going to look at some sharing options. I'm going to choose a document that I've never shared before. So I'm going to check mark in front of a document I want to share. And I have two choices. I can come up to share on the menu bar right there, or I can click the more drop down arrow and I can say share from here. So sometimes there's more than one way to do what you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and click share. When I click share, you're going to notice that I already have a link address. This is an address that I could copy and paste, and I could share it through email. I could share it on my Google Plus page. I could share it on Facebook. I could share it on Twitter. I could even copy and paste that link on my teacher web page so that students can access a file if I wanted them to be able to see it and view it. Currently, my file has private access and only I can get to that. And it tells me that I'm the owner of this document. I can change that if I want to, or I can share with individual people. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how to share that with an individual person. I'm going to go ahead and type an email address, and I'm going to share a document with someone. But what I want you to notice is as soon as you start to share a document with someone, you are going to have choices over here to the right. The default is to say can edit. If I leave it on can edit, that person is going to be able to edit that document. If it's a teacher and we're collaborating and we're working together, maybe I want to choose can edit. Or if it's a document I'm going to have my students working on together, maybe I want them to be able to edit it. But you're going to choose what you want them to be able to do, what permissions you want to give them. So you have the option to can edit, can only comment, or can view only. Can view only is going to work really well for you if you want to put links to your documents on your teacher web page for your students to access and be able to read and print out, but not be able to change. Or if you want to post things on your teacher web page for parents to be able to view. So if you choose can view, they can see it, they can open it, and they can print it, but they can't change your document. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on can edit. And you'll notice that you have a section down here that says notify people via email. I can uncheck that and they won't get an email. That's your choice. If I check mark it, it's going to send them an email. And if I want to add a specific message, I can click add message, and it's going to let me add a message to them telling them what I shared with them, why I shared it with them. If you notice at the very bottom, it says editors will be allowed to add people and change the permissions on my document. If you want them to be able to change the permissions on your document, you can leave that. If you just want them to be able to edit your document but not be able to share it with other people, then you might want to change that. That's an option you can decide. If I click on change, it's going to say sharing settings. Right now, my editors are allowed to add people and change the permissions. Editors have full control to add and remove people and change the visibility of the item. Only the owner, though, can delete the item. Your other choice would be only the owner can change permissions. Editors cannot add or remove people or change the visibility of an item. So you have to decide, if you're sharing it with another teacher, do you want them to have rights to share this with other teachers? If you want them to have rights to share with others, you're going to leave the first one check marked. Editors are allowed to add people and change permissions. If you don't want them to have that right, then you would choose only the owner can edit, and you would be the owner. I'm going to leave it on the one that says they're editors and they can share it with other people. I'm going to click save, and I'm back to the screen we were working on. So if I click the send button right now, it'll send an email to that person. I'm going to go ahead and click send. Once I click send, you'll notice that that person's email address has been added. I can go in at any time I want to and I can change them. I can make them the owner of the document and I would no longer be the owner. Or I can change their rights and say can comment or can view. So you can go back in and change something. If you decide you no longer want this person to have access to your document, you could just click the X button, and when you do, that person has been removed from your document once you click Save Changes. Now, if you want to share a file online with students on your web page, you're going to change this from private access to change, and you're going to decide, am I going to show this publicly on the web? That means anybody can see it. Am I going to share this with anyone who has the link, which is going to be harder for someone to find? They would need to be able to find your web page and click on your link. Or am I going to share this with specific people? I'm going to click the one that says anyone with a link. That means if I copy and paste this link on my web page, anybody who gets to my web page can click on the link and view the document. If you look at the bottom, I chose anyone with a link. It says can view. That's the default. You can change that. You could change it to can edit, can comment, or can view. It depends on what you want your students to be able to do. If you just want them to be able to read it, print it out, then you want to leave it on can view. Then you would hit save. From this point, if you wanted to take that link and put it on your web page, you would come up here and you would right click and copy that link. Or you can use the shortcut Control C, and that would copy the link for you. You would go into your web page and you would paste that link, and then the students would be able to access that file. So that's how to share an individual file. Let's say you want to share an entire folder. Maybe I want to put a whole entire folder out there for my students to access. I'm going to create a folder for my students. I'm going to say Unit 1 Students. And anything I create in Unit 1, I'm going to put in that folder. I'm going to click on Create. And I'm going to find my Unit 1 student folder. And I'm going to check mark that folder. Instead of having to share individual files again and again and again, I can put all the files I want to in that one Unit 1 student folder, and I can share the whole folder. So if I click on More and I go to Share, click on Share, I can share the whole folder. So I can put 10 files in there, or 15 files, or 20 files. I can share an entire folder without having to share individual documents. And you would do that exactly the same way. If you want to post a link on your teacher webpage, you would say change from private access to anyone with the link, can view, and you would say save. You would do the same thing. You would right click and you would copy that link address, or you can use the option Control C, and you would paste that link on your teacher webpage. What you've done now is you've shared a whole folder. So anytime I put a new document inside that folder, it would automatically be shared with a student. If I create a new document right now and I put it inside that folder, it's going to be shared with the students. Now I have a unit document inside there. It's automatically shared if you notice. I'm going to go ahead and drag something else into there so you see that when I drag it into that folder, it's automatically shared. Let's see, grab another one. Drop it in. The whole folder is shared, and you see that everything that I put in there is going to be shared. If I want to go back and edit the permissions on that folder, I can go back to My Drive, go back to Unit 1 Students, and I can always go back into Share and open up the permissions, and I can go back and change the permissions. So if I decide I don't want to share that anymore, I can go ahead and I can take that option off and just say specific people. So you can go back in and change your share settings at any time. If you have a document open and you want to share directly from a document, you can go ahead and rename your document. And from the right hand corner on any of your documents, you can click share. And it's going to bring up the exact same share settings for you. So it doesn't matter if you're inside a document or if you're just in your Google Drive, you're going to be able to share your documents exactly the same way.